Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real quick. If you want a man to call you first, if you want him to text you first, stop chasing him. Stop putting yourself in a position where you're always the one doing the work. A real man, when he truly wants you, will reach out. He'll make time. He'll find a way. Because that's what men do when they're genuinely interested. See, women today got it twisted. Y'all think you got to remind a man of your worth like he forgot. But your worth ain't something you explain, it's something you show. You don't show it by texting him every morning or double texting when he doesn't reply. You show it by stepping back, holding your peace, and letting him realize the value of your silence. That silence is powerful. Because when a man's interested, he starts missing that energy. He starts thinking, where's she at? Why she ain't calling? And right there, you got his attention. Let me break it down. The man who values you, he doesn't need to be begged, reminded, or convinced. He knows you're different. He knows he can't treat you like the rest, but if you're always available, always trying to prove yourself, you make it too easy. And men don't value easy. They value effort. They value mystery. They value a woman who knows she's the prize. A real man pursues what he values, so stop chasing him. When a man truly wants you in his life, he doesn't wait around for signs or permission to make a move. He acts. It's in his nature to go after what he desires, to hunt for what matters. That's what pursuit means, but too often, women forget that truth. They start chasing a man who's not showing up, hoping that more effort will make him realize her worth. Yet all that does is flip the balance. The more you chase, the less he values. The more you reach, the more he retreats. Because the moment he senses that you're the one doing all the work, he doesn't have to. He stops trying. And once he stops trying, he stops valuing. When you pull back, you give him a chance to step up. A man's pursuit reveals his level of interest. If he's truly into you, he'll find a way to see you, to talk to you, to stay connected with you. He won't risk losing his place in your world. That's the truth about men. They go where they see value and they stay where they feel respected. So when you stop chasing, you're not losing him, you're testing him. Literally every woman I have ever talked to is seeing me. You're finding out whether he's serious or just playing games. And that's one of the best lessons you can learn. If he doesn't chase you when you stop chasing him, then he was never chasing you at all. See, the moment you start running after a man, you strip him of his role as a pursuer. You take the lead and he gets comfortable being led. That's not love. That's imbalance. And no real connection can grow from that. You deserve someone who shows effort, someone who calls first, someone who wants to hear your voice without needing a reminder. You deserve someone who values your energy, not someone who drains it. The truth is, men respect what they earn, not what they're handed. When something is too easy, they assume it's available to everyone. But when they have to work for your attention, when they have to earn your time, it becomes special to them. So stop giving away your energy for free. Don't be the one always initiating, always planning, always following up. Let him wonder, let him think, let him miss you. That's not manipulation, that's maintaining your dignity. A man can't appreciate what's constantly chasing him because pursuit teaches him the difference between something ordinary and something extraordinary. You are extraordinary, but he can't see that if you stand in his face all the time trying to prove it. Let your absence remind him of what your presence brought. When he feels that gap, that quiet, that missing energy, that's when he'll understand what you meant to him. The beauty of being pursued is not just about ego. It's about alignment. When a man wants to be with you, his actions will match his words. You won't have to decode his messages or wait for days wondering if he's going to text. You'll know because he'll make it clear. That clarity is peace. But peace only comes when you stop chasing confusion. You create that peace by standing still, by knowing your worth, by letting the right person find you instead of forcing the wrong one to stay. There's power in patience. There's grace in letting things unfold. When you hold your ground and let a man come to you, you communicate confidence without saying a word. You show him that you're not desperate for attention, that you're content with yourself, that you know the difference between interest and convenience. And men notice that. They respect that. Because real men want women who value themselves. They don't want to be begged, they want to be inspired. They don't respond to pressure, they respond to peace. So remember this, a real man pursues what he values. If he's not pursuing you, it's not your job to convince him. It's your job to step back and make room for someone who will. Your worth didn't rise or fall based on who calls you or who doesn't. You were valuable before the phone rang, and you'll be valuable after it stops. Keep that in your heart, because the moment you stop chasing, the right one will start running toward you. Silence and space create attraction. They make him miss you. When you step back and stop constantly reaching out, you allow the air between you to fill with curiosity. That quiet distance speaks louder than any words you could ever say. It makes a man stop and think. He begins to notice your absence in ways he didn't when you were always available. That silence is not emptiness, it's power. It's the pause that gives him time to wonder what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and whether he still holds a place in your world. Every message left unsent, every call you don't make becomes a mirror reflecting back to him the effort he's not showing. And when he realizes that, something shifts inside him. He starts missing you. He starts remembering the things about you that he took for granted when your attention came too easy. You see, silence is the teacher of value. When you're quiet, you're not punishing him. You're teaching him how to treat you. You're reminding him that your time and your energy are not infinite. You're showing him that you can be happy and peaceful even without his constant attention. That's magnetic to a man. Because when a woman radiates peace and silence, it speaks to his spirit. He begins to realize that she's not waiting by the phone. She's living her life. And that realization awakens something inside him, a need to be part of that life again, a desire to reach out and bridge the distance he feels. That's how attraction grows. Not through chasing, but through the quiet confidence of letting go. Space is necessary for appreciation. Think about it. When you're always present, there's no room for longing. There's no reason for him to wander. Constant contact can drown out curiosity. But when you pull back, when you give him space to feel your absence, that curiosity returns. He starts noticing the silence. He starts missing the sound of your laugh, the way you made him feel, the comfort of your presence. That's not manipulation. That's natural human psychology. People always notice what they once took for granted when it's no longer easily available. The same way we appreciate light after darkness, we appreciate connection after distance. But here's the truth. Silence only works when it comes from strength, not fear. You're not going quiet because you're scared of rejection. You're doing it because you respect yourself. You're giving him the chance to show you what he's made of. You're letting time reveal whether he values you enough to step forward on his own. That kind of silence doesn't come from ego. It comes from knowing your worth. You're not trying to make him chase you. You're simply choosing not to chase him. That choice, that self-control, that calm energy is irresistible. Because confidence doesn't shout. It whispers. It says, I'm good with or without you. And that whisper is louder than any words you could ever say. Men are wired to pursue. They need space to feel that instinct. When you constantly fill the space with words, calls, and texts, there's no room for pursuit. You take away the very thing that drives attraction. But when you step back, you trigger that instinct again. He feels the need to reconnect, to reach out, to understand what's changed. That's when you see his real intentions. If he truly cares, he'll close that space himself. He'll call, he'll text, he'll show up. And if he doesn't, you'll know that silence didn't break something. It revealed something that was never solid to begin with. So don't fear silence. Don't rush to fill every quiet moment. Let the stillness speak for you. Because in that silence, he'll hear the echo of your absence. He'll feel the loss of your energy. He'll remember your laughter, your warmth, your strength. And when that memory starts to pull at him, that's when he'll pick up the phone, not because you reminded him, but because he finally realized how much he misses you. Self-respect is louder than any text message. You can send 1,000 words, 100 reminders, and endless emojis, but nothing communicates your worth more powerfully than the quiet energy of a woman who respects herself. Self-respect is not about pride. It's about knowing who you are and what you deserve. It's the silent force that tells a man, you don't chase love, you attract it. When you hold yourself with that kind of strength, you don't have to beg for attention or demand effort. Your energy alone makes people treat you differently. It's the kind of energy that says, I'm not waiting on anyone to choose me because I've already chosen myself. And that's what makes a man look twice. That's what makes him listen. When a woman has self-respect, she doesn't tolerate being an option. She doesn't settle for half interest or mixed signals. She's not afraid to walk away from someone who doesn't value her. And that kind of power, that willingness to let go is magnetic, because when a man realizes that your world doesn't stop spinning when he goes silent, he understands that he's dealing with a woman who can't be controlled through attention. He learns that your peace doesn't depend on his validation. That's when the dynamic changes. He starts respecting you more because you respect yourself. You set the tone for how you'll be treated, and self-respect is the loudest tone there is. It's easy to think that constant communication keeps love alive, but love that depends on constant reassurance is fragile. Real connection doesn't need chasing. Real love flows naturally between two people who value themselves and each other. When you have self-respect, you don't send desperate messages to prove your worth. You understand that silence doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're strong enough to wait for what's right. Every time you choose to stay calm instead of reacting, you raise your value. Every time you choose to focus on your own growth instead of begging for attention, you remind yourself and him that you are the prize. A woman who respects herself walks differently. She speaks differently. She doesn't let temporary emotions make her break her own boundaries. When she says she won't accept disrespect, she means it. And when she says she's done chasing, she follows through. That consistency builds power. It shows everyone around her that her self-worth isn't negotiable. And when a man sees that kind of confidence, it challenges him to rise up, because no man wants to lose a woman who carries herself with quiet strength. He knows if he doesn't step up, someone else will. The thing about self-respect is that it attracts love, but it also protects you from the wrong kind. It keeps you from giving your heart to someone who's not ready to hold it. It reminds you that being alone is better than being half loved. When you respect yourself, you stop chasing unavailable people. You stop explaining why you deserve more. You stop lowering your standards to make someone else comfortable. That's when peace finds you. That's when joy returns. That's when you become the kind of woman who doesn't just want attention, she commands it. So when he doesn't call, don't panic. When he doesn't text, don't crumble. Remember that silence doesn't define your worth. Your response to it does. You don't have to explain your value to someone who can't see it. Let your boundaries speak for you. Let your peace do the talking. Because self-respect is a language only strong people understand, and when you speak it fluently, you'll never have to raise your voice. The right man will hear it loud and clear. You're not playing games. You're protecting your energy. There's a big difference between manipulation and self-preservation. When you step back from someone who doesn't match your effort, you're not being cold, you're being wise. Protecting your energy means you understand the value of your time, your emotions, and your peace. You know that not everyone deserves access to you, especially if their presence drains more than it gives. You can love deeply, care sincerely, and still choose to guard your space, because love should never come at the cost of your peace. The moment you start feeling like you have to chase someone just to feel seen, you've stepped away from your power. Protecting your energy is about taking that power back. See, people confuse boundaries with game. They think when a woman stops overextending herself, she's playing hard to get. But that's not what's happening. You're not trying to make anyone jealous or desperate. You're simply refusing to pour into someone who doesn't pour back. You're giving him the space to show up, to match your energy, to earn the privilege of your attention. Because when your energy is peaceful and focused, you don't beg for connection. You attract it. The right man will see that your calmness is confidence. The wrong one will call it distance because he's used to chaos. But you don't have to shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. Protecting your energy means being okay walking away from what doesn't feel right, no matter how much you wanted it to. You have to remember energy is contagious. When you chase someone who's emotionally unavailable, you start to absorb that emptiness. It leaves you feeling anxious, insecure, and exhausted. But when you pull back, when you stop forcing something that isn't flowing, you create space for peace to return. That's not a loss, that's healing. Your energy is sacred. It's the fuel that powers your confidence, your creativity, your joy. And every time you give it away to someone who doesn't respect it, you dim your own light. Protecting your energy means saying no to what drains you and yes to what feeds your spirit. It's choosing silence over arguments, peace over chaos, and self-respect over desperation. There's strength in knowing when to stop giving. You don't need to explain why you're stepping back. You don't owe anyone an apology for choosing yourself. When you protect your energy, you stop chasing validation from people who only notice your absence. You start realizing that you were never too much. You were just giving too much to the wrong person. That shift in mindset changes everything because once you understand that your peace is the priority, you start to move differently. You stop over-explaining. You stop begging to be understood. You start living in a way that says, if it costs my peace, it's too expensive. Protecting your energy doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring smarter. It means you trust that what's meant for you won't require you to lose yourself. It means you honor your feelings without letting them control your actions. It means you can love someone deeply but still walk away if they can't meet you halfway. That kind of strength is rare and it's beautiful. Because when you guard your energy, you're not just saving yourself from pain, you're teaching others how to treat you. You're showing them that your love has boundaries, your time has value, and your soul has limits. So no, you're not playing games. You're protecting your energy because you finally understand its worth. You've learned that peace is power and silence is strength. When a man sees that you can love without losing yourself, that you can care without chasing, he'll either rise to your level or fall away. Either way, you win. Because protecting your energy doesn't push away love, it filters out everything that isn't real. Focus on your life. Your glow draws him in naturally. There's something deeply magnetic about a woman who is fully present in her own world. When you stop revolving your thoughts and actions around a man and instead start investing that same energy into yourself, everything about you begins to shift. You start to walk differently, talk differently, even breathe differently. Your confidence grows, your spirit shines, and your presence becomes radiant. That glow doesn't come from makeup, attention, or validation. It comes from inner peace, purpose, and joy. And that kind of energy is irresistible. When you're happy, fulfilled, and focused on your goals, men can sense it. They see a woman who doesn't need to be completed, only appreciated. They notice your calmness, your direction, your independence, and that's what pulls them in. You see, when you stop chasing love and start chasing your dreams, life starts working in your favor. You're no longer waiting for a message or a call to feel good about yourself. You're too busy living, learning, and growing. That shift in energy makes people curious about you. They start wondering what changed. What's making you glow? What's giving you that quiet confidence? That's a power of focus. It directs attention without effort. When you pour energy into your passions, your goals, your happiness, you create an energy that attracts everything meant for you, including love. Because real attraction starts with self-love. A woman who is content in her own company radiates something rare, a peace that can't be faked. The truth is, people are drawn to light. And that light is born when you stop chasing what drains you and start nurturing what fulfills you. Every time you choose yourself, every time you invest in your dreams, you're adding to that glow. Whether it's working on your goals, spending time with friends, learning something new, or simply taking care of your health and mind, you're building a life that feels good from the inside out. And when a man sees that, it shifts how he views you. He starts realizing that your attention is a privilege, not a guarantee. He knows that if he wants to be part of your world, he needs to bring value to it. That's how power works. Not by begging for attention, but by becoming so fulfilled that attention finds you. Focusing on your life also keeps you grounded. It reminds you that love is only one part of your story, not the whole thing. It helps you build strength, independence, and self-trust. When you have goals, hobbies, and dreams outside of a relationship, you become unshakable. You no longer cling to someone out of loneliness because your life is already full. That fullness is what draws people in, is what makes them want to be around you. They can feel that your happiness doesn't depend on them. It's already blooming within you. And that's when the magic happens. Because nothing is more attractive than a woman who glows from self-content. So while he's thinking, while he's hesitating, while he's wondering what you're doing, keep glowing. Keep working on yourself. Keep leveling up. Don't waste your energy trying to force something to happen. Let your growth do the talking. When you focus on your own path, the right people will find their way to you. The man who truly values you will notice your glow and move closer, not because you chased him, but because your light pulled him in. That's how real attraction works. Effortlessly, naturally, powerfully. When your focus is on your life, your glow becomes your voice, and this speaks louder than any words ever could. When you know your worth, you won't have to ask for effort. He'll give it freely. The moment you understand how valuable you are, everything about the way you carry yourself changes. You stop settling for bare minimum attention, half-hearted promises, and one-sided love. You stop explaining why you deserve more because you know your worth speaks louder than words. A woman who knows her value doesn't beg for consistency, she expects it. She doesn't chase love, she attracts it. And the reason she attracts it is simple. Confidence is magnetic. When you walk with assurance, when you move like someone who knows she's enough, you naturally inspire respect. A man who truly sees your worth will match your energy without needing to be told. He'll call, he'll text, he'll show up, not because you demanded it, but because he wants to keep a woman like you in his life. Knowing your worth isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's recognizing that your heart, your time, and your love are valuable gifts, not things to be taken for granted. You can't teach someone to see your value if you don't see it yourself. When you start treating yourself like you matter, others follow your lead. That's how relationships change. The way you carry yourself sets the tone for how people treat you. When you accept less, they'll give less. But when you hold yourself to a higher standard, the right ones will rise to meet it, and the wrong ones will fade away. That's not loss. That's alignment. Because your worth acts like a filter. It keeps the wrong people out and draws the right ones closer. When a man meets a woman who knows her worth, it changes the way he moves. He knows he can't come with half effort or empty words. He knows he has to bring his best self forward because she's not the kind to tolerate inconsistency. And that's what makes her unforgettable. He knows that her attention isn't guaranteed, that her love is something to be earned, that awareness pushes him to give effort willingly, not out of pressure, but out of genuine desire, because real men want to earn the love of a woman who values herself. They want to be worthy of her. They see her standards not as demands, but as inspiration. When you know your worth, you stop confusing attention with affection. You stop accepting mixed signals and excuses. You stop hoping someone will change because you understand that love shouldn't feel like convincing. You don't chase after potential, you honor your peace. That kind of clarity is powerful. It doesn't make you hard, it makes you whole. You understand that you don't need to lower your standards to be loved. You just need to wait for the person who can meet them. The effort you deserve doesn't come from begging or reminding. It comes from being yourself and standing firm in your truth. The beautiful thing about self-worth is that it changes the energy you attract. When you know you're enough, you no longer fall for empty words. You pay attention to consistent actions. You don't ask for more, you naturally receive more because your energy demands it. You create an unspoken expectation of respect, and those who can't give it quietly disappear. That's not loneliness, that's self-protection. Because a woman who knows her worth doesn't fear being alone, she fears wasting her energy on someone who doesn't value it. So never lower your light to make someone else comfortable. Never chase someone who wouldn't cross the street for you. When you truly know your worth, you don't have to demand effort. It shows up on its own. The right man will recognize your value and give you the consistency, attention, and love you deserve, not because you ask, but because he sees that a woman like you is worth it.